The laws of Edward point out 4 mistakes that hurt your hands, elbows, and shoulders. If you don't know how to use your hand in the right way, if you don't do it properly, you do it wrong over and over again, it's gonna hurt your joints, your muscles, even your nervous system. You know that. But maybe you'll be interested to know about the laws of Edward. These laws help you prevent injuries. They teach you how to use your hands properly in your everyday life. I'm Matthias Avigdor, advanced golfer, and for the last 20 years, people come to me when they are tired of being in pain. I'm going to demonstrate and explain the laws of Edward, and at the end of the video, we'll talk about who is Edward. We use the image of posture that we have as a reference. An image we learn from looking at other people. If I look at you, how can I have the same information? I'm looking at myself like if I'm outside of me. That doesn't work. You see what I mean? We can change that by knowing exactly what reference we have to look at. I need information that actually are inside me, not from someone looking at me. You have to be inside to know and to make sure that the references you have for posture and for movement are the right ones. We often start a movement and then we want to change it, but that's too late. For example, I carry something heavy and then I think, oh, maybe I should relax a little bit or change a little bit the way I hold it, whatever. And this is really hard. Once you start a movement, you start a program, and that program usually runs all the way. So if you want to change that program, if you want to change the way you move or you do something, you have to stop between the movements. You know, I used to climb when I was young. I did rock climbing, and we spent so many hours talking about how we were doing movements. We really learned how to dissecate movements into really tiny bits, and that's what you want to do if you don't want to hurt your hands, your shoulders, your elbow, your spine, whatever. You need to learn how to dissecate, and in the moment between that, between the movements, before you start the movement and after you finished one, that's where you can insert something new. The best moment to change a movement is not when you already started a movement. And that's something we need to understand and study. So silence between movements and desiccation doesn't mean the movement will look like that. Actually, it's a paradox, but it will look the opposite. The more you insert real will and real consciousness in these little moments, the more the movement will look like it's so smooth. It's one continuous movement. There's no stop in between. We describe movements with mechanical things, like if it was mechanical. But movement doesn't work like that. Movement is something expressive. It has to do with meaning. It has to do with feelings. It has to do with so much more than a mechanical thing. Expressivity, feelings, emotions, perceptions, orientation. That's what movements are made of. Use perceptions in order to move differently. We often ignore the real laws that actually govern our movements, meaning the neuroscience of movement, meaning the anatomy of movements. How are my joints supposed to work the best? Is there a way that my joints can work better or worse? So this, if we don't know about it, we can't do it right. We have no idea. We can feel it, but we don't always know that we can. I mean, we can feel it, but we can't control that what we did was right. But if we know a little bit of anatomy, we know, okay, that should be all right. And so we can calm down and trust our feelings. So that's what happens. We don't trust our feelings because of ignorance. We don't trust our feelings. We learn these laws of Edward and trust your feelings more. So we are in this space between two movements, right? And we finish the movement and we're going to start a new movement with our hands, what we can do concerns three different things. There's the muscles and tendons, the joints, and the nervous system. And for each of them, there are a few laws that you need to know. So you're grabbing something with your hand. What do you do first? Before you move, what you want to do is to relax anywhere in your body. Can you relax something before you move, before you write, for example? Can you relax something? For example, if I usually start like that, I'm stopping and say, okay, can I relax my shoulders? Can I relax my hands? Can I allow a capacity for rotation in my forearm? Can I allow a capacity for rotation in my wrist? And can I allow some sliding capacity for my shoulder blade? This I want to check before I move, and that's the first step. So let's say I grab the phone like that. The first thing I want to do is to say, okay, before I do anything, can I relax? And I see that my right shoulder is tense, and so I relax. Now, can I allow rotation for my forearms? Can I allow rotation for my wrist? And can I allow my shoulder blade to slide back and forth against my spine? When I'm going to do the movement, let's say, for example, I unlock my phone. When I unlock my phone, I start again with putting this tension. So if I'm aware of that, in this silence before unlocking my phone and unlocking my phone, I notice that my shoulder can actually stay here. Now I'm going to concentrate and try to do the movement with my thumb without engaging my shoulder. That's going to be difficult, but that's going to be something I will print in my brain. And so I can learn how to keep this mobility, this smooth way of moving, even when I do different sequences of movement. So you can train that. What you can also do to help relax while you do a movement is to use your perceptions. So you can use the perception of the weight of the phone. Are you aware of the phone has a weight, so you don't need to grasp it because it's holding, it's gripping. So you can just gently hold it like that without any force. You don't need force. You can feel the temperature of the object, the weight of the object, and you can include the object in your body image. Means it's like if my body didn't stop where my hand is, my body stops now because I'm using this phone at the end of the phone. And if I do this activity of including the phone in my body image, when I move, I know exactly where is the end of the phone. I don't need to think. My brain is doing that for me. It's like when you drive a car or something. If you know where the limits of the car are, you don't need to think about it. Your eyes do the math. It's the same with the phone, with the screwdriver, with everything. So that's something you can do. Then orientation also plays a role. Before I move with my thumb, am I really focusing on my phone like this? See, when I focus only on this small spot, something tightens. So can I, in this silence between the movements, before I unlock my phone, can I be aware that there is a surrounding? There's a sky, there's flowers, and I can keep the image with me while I let my eyes drop on the phone. And that makes a different kind of movement than if I do that. So periphery, really useful before you do any movement, and it will also prevent many injuries. The next rule is about the joints. The joints of the hand are not made to be used in hyperextension when you use force. Extension, this is flexion. Extension is very good for This kind of things, but not with weight. As soon as I want to have weight, I need to find flexion everywhere. A little bit like this. You see, this would be wrong with a lot of weight, and this would be okay. So a little bit of flexion. You have a bone like this, and you don't want any place with an extension. This would be wrong. You have to bring your finger a little bit more here, and this wouldn't be perfect. If you do that, it will also force you to put your body differently, to allow for more rotation in the forearm, to allow for more gliding in your shoulder blade, so you can really adapt, because you know that the anatomy of your fingers is made not for using force in extension, but in slight flexion. And you need to make sure that there's not more pressure in the joint than in another one. If all the power is at the tip of your fingers, for example, you need to build something that comes from the spine, not just here in your hand. The force has to be everywhere, and you can control that, you can feel it, you can measure it, you can work on it every day with very simple movements, like taking a phone or something to write. How are you guiding when you're writing? Are you guiding with a hyperextension here or with a slight flexion? Are you allowing a rotation here? These elements will make the tendinitis come or go. That's what makes the difference. Then when you use your hands, your nervous system also wants to be taken care of, and that's the third law. The nervous system needs length. It doesn't like shortness. So you always want to have your fingers as long as possible. Your fingers must be as long as possible. This has to be as long as possible. You don't want to be close. You want to be having air here, air around, so that you can move. So your nervous system needs air. It needs length and rotation. Also, if you know why you're doing something, if there's a meaning, if you have fun, if it's creative for you, or if it's boring, that's going to change the muscular activity. So when you're bored, when you find it boring, be aware it's more dangerous. So then you can use these laws, observe how your joints are working, how your muscles are working, so you can compensate for being bored, or find a way to make it exciting. Either way, but you can control your movements much better now with these rules. I'll make a playlist with examples of different types of movements and cut them down so that we can really run all the steps together. And so have a look and tell me if you would like other examples. And leave a comment down below. And now, what about Edward? Who do you think he is? Write a comment and tell me what you think. And I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.